in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. The blue Zerg, SoO! And, well, the only real development thus far, Kev, is the fact that no one's built a spawning pool yet.
Which, you know, normally might not be a big indicator, but actually it is. Then again, this is Whirlwind, a very big map, perhaps not the best map for those early pools, but it is a very good map for a Roddy build, for instance. Ain't that right, man? A
great map for a Roddy build, but perhaps better still, there is an early Baneling build, like a 12-13 pool Baneling bust build. I'm trying to come up with another B I can throw in front of that. We'll call it Ben's Baneling bust build. Of brilliance.
Have you been Baneling busting a lot lately?
Anyway, players like Gosu User and players like Scarlet, players like Nurchio would all contend that on Whirlwind, that's maybe the best build you can do, because if it's unscouted, it's unstoppable, quote. If it's scouted, a player can build a spine crawler and block it, but irrelevant here, as both players have opted to go for the hatch first.
ByuL throwing down the spawning pool a little bit quicker than SoO on the other side of the map, but other than that, both build orders are identical so far, as they both opened hatch first, as Ben said. They're going to take gas as well, and then we're going to keep a close eye on those extractors to see how much gas they will mine precisely.
Now, Whirlwind's a big map, and these players have spawned cross position. This could certainly become a very long game where it gets quite positional. Oftentimes, if we make it into the mid game, if we get past that Zergling Baneling stage, that can be so exciting. It can go into the roach phase, which wow, sometimes stagnates.
It's pretty crazy. He didn't actually take an extractor. I thought ByuL took an extractor as well, but he did not.
He has not.
He's going for maybe a
gasless opening.
Yeah, a very heavy queen opening here. Probably going to go up to 4 queens immediately and then drop multiple extractors at once. Something that we see a player like Snoot do very often.
Yep.
Snoot loves this build. I've seen Ian do it once or twice as well, but from all the Zergs I know, Snoot is the biggest favorite or the biggest, pioneer of this build.
I'm a big fan of it myself. It's been around for a long time. You delay the gases in favor of a much superior mineral economy. If you have to defend aggression, you just keep making queens. You drop a couple of spine crawlers, and
already 170 gas mined for SoO though. SoO didn't stop mining gas after he mined 100. And I think the moment he's going to scout what he's actually up against, it's already going to get perhaps a little dicey for ByuL out there, because this is kind of a hard map as well to get an early wall off. Interesting.
But Kev, with the queens parked on the ramp, a spine crawler building, as long as the spine crawler doesn't die, I think ByuL's going to be just fine. It's very difficult to bust queens.
I think that's so great by SoO that he denied both those Zerglings. Now
I don't like this choice to drop a creep tumor, and the reason being that is much less energy available for transfusion in the event of an attack. So we actually see two creep tumors going down there. That's crazy for me to see that.
I think the reason why he's doing that is because he wants to start a wall off with evolution chambers over here. Don't you think so?
Yeah, that makes some sense. But I don't think he would ever have that wall in time for a big Zergling Baneling attack.
Well, so far it's just drones on the other side of the map. Taking a look at the extractor, only a single drone remaining on this extractor, but still, SoO has quite a bit of gas, so he could definitely make something happen. And here we can see all those evolution chambers going down, and one of them is a roach one in disguise. Almost didn't recognize it. They look the same, man.
Makes exactly the wall you were talking about, Kev. 3 happy drones turning into 3 happy Zerg structures, and ByuL's just going to sit back and continue to drone up behind it. He has only started mining gas.
Neither player has a very good idea of how the other player opened, as SoO didn't manage to get the links in the main base of ByuL either. He's also unaware of this third base. He might have seen the drone heading out though. Oops, sorry, I mean on the other side of the map. ByuL is, I will say, going to scout it now, but that Zergling can't find the ramp. He's drunk. It's too early, Zergling.
Slightly confused. But he does jump up, and he will see the third expansion of SoO, so a much faster third base for SoO. Could set him up to have a great mid-game. He is getting his lair. Kev, there's a couple Evo chambers going down for SoO. Where's the Roach one? There it goes. The Roach one is also down. So similar wall-offs for both players, and still no real commitment to any path. Muta is still a possibility.
Not a whole lot of units have died. SoO trying to get a scout up, but it's going to be very hard in this phase of the game to get any idea of what this opponent is doing. But the wall is a very big tell, and I'm pretty sure that he put the pieces together and say, all right, you probably had a small mineral lead of me in the early game because I dropped that extractor, I committed my drones to mining that gas, and I wasn't really able to do all that much with it. But SoO will be able to bounce back from that because his third base is going to be so much quicker than the third base of ByuL, and I believe that we're going to see a lot of roaches on the production tab soon from either side.
Never mind. I thought those lings might sneak in. Not going to be the case. They will, however.
Oh,
whoa, transfuse on a drone?
Oh my god.
That never happens.
2 of them even. Man, one hell of a health insurance. But
yeah. Zergling speed finishing up for ByuL. He's going to try to zoom across the map and see if he can do something about that third base. Or maybe he'll just chase these 2 lings in circles. Nope, there he goes. That's a lot of speedlings pouring out, Kev. 31 lings on the map. There's only 7 roaches out for SoO. Will that be enough to save this third base? I'm not sure that it will be.
He has 2 banelings on the map as well. Those are definitely scary to deal with. He has to be careful how he wants to control these lings. These lings go to town on the queen. So far, so good, though.
You know, I think if he just right-clicked on that hatchery, he might have been able to kill it, but obviously he opted to fight the roaches instead, and it meant that the expansion was saved and no real damage was dealt. It's 100 supply for ByuL. It's 94 supply for SoO, but SoO with the much faster third base is going to be feeling pretty confident in the next couple of minutes.
We can already see it in the units tab as well. Nice larva advantage, even though he's going to morph most of that larva into drones and roaches immediately. That is just the power of that much quicker third hatchery. And the fact that ByuL took some small risk early on, even though his opening wasn't that risky, but he tried to get an economic lead, but it kind of backfired as SoO with his quick 3 bases actually took the lead right now.
Yep. Third hatch for ByuL will be finishing up here momentarily. But in the meantime, we're just going to see some lings running around the map playing catch, as neither player looks like they really want to commit to a big fight. There's a lot of units out on the map for SoO right now. He's got most of his army holding that center Zelnaga tower. He's got to be a little bit careful not to overextend and get surrounded.
He has a lot of additional roaches on the way as well, but the roach count that he has on his opponent's side of the map is fairly even. I actually think that ByuL might be able to win this fight, and I think SoO is feeling the same way, so he's going to back off and wait for the reinforcements to arrive.
Realizes it immediately. He probably wants to just sit back and wait for that larva advantage to really kick in. It's 54 drones to 49 drones, 34 roaches to 27, and now it looks like SoO is willing to take a fight. Picks off a couple creep tumors, is not happy with his position. But here we go. Roaches will push up and stop disengaging immediately upon realizing that the spine crawler is going to be there.
ByuL just needs to hang in there a little longer. He has a lot of roaches on the way, as you can see in the production tab. Right now he's quite outnumbered though, but there is just not really something that SoO can really do to push the issue. He doesn't want to overextend, he doesn't want to throw away the small lead that he has created for himself. Well, Ben, we've seen a lot of crazy things this tournament already. The only thing we didn't see yet is a good old roach war. Let's enjoy it.
Yep, and this is kind of what happens when you're on a big map like this and both players hit the mid game in even shape. It becomes very hard to attack. And we will see a lot of movement, and maybe somebody's going to commit to something, but oftentimes if you overcommit to an attack at this stage of the game, it can cost you the game. So ByuL and SoO both good enough to know that. They're just going to dance around and try to feel out their opponents, see if somebody can maybe sneak a faster fourth base.
Or tech switch a little bit quicker. We can see the infestation pit is going down. I think Contaminate is being used in this evolution champion. There is a nice upgrade advantage though, or at least small one for ByuL, but he shouldn't fight right now. He's going to have to wait a little longer. But he's going to have 2-2 way before his opponent.
And he has no interest in fighting right now. He is running as quickly as he can away from that big pack of roaches. But look at this. At the same time, 4 roaches making it into the back of the third base. They are going to pick up a couple of drone kills. So ByuL draws first blood.
The Zerg version of the 4 Stalker hit squad.
Yep. They can't blink, but they do spit acid, so that's a plus. 7 drones killed there as SoO does get back and clean it up. 197 supply to 183. Army supplies, 122 to 136. It's so close, Kevin. I have a hard time believing either player would commit to a fight here.
I really love how versatile the army of SoO is. He has 65 roaches and a baneling.
He's getting baneling speed. This is something we've seen before, and I think it's so brilliant that ByuL's getting infestors and not hydras, because that's how you deal with roach baneling. SoO is gonna
SoO's going to have to wait for those upgrades to kick in. ByuL's already sitting comfortably on 2-2. So he was economically behind a little bit, but he was able to get those upgrades out a little bit quicker because he dropped those Evo chambers a lot sooner. And I think he's putting himself in a reasonable position He's not adding any infestors in the mix yet. Maybe he should try to pick a fight while he has that upgrade advantage, even though for him that's a much harder call to make than for us.
So hard to call. Look at how close this is. 61 drones to 62. 65 roaches to 65 roaches and a baneling.
That one baneling could actually be the game changer.
This is the baneling that could rule the world as ByuL and SoO continue to dance around one another. ByuL keeps trying to find openings with small groups of roaches. SoO is obviously a world-class player, and it's hard to find those openings in this matchup, certainly when there's only 3 bases to defend. ByuL the first to try to take a 4th base.
I mean, SoO probably wants to wait just a little longer. He knows he has an upgrade disadvantage as he's able to see the roaches of his opponent.
Is going to try to set up a flank. Is this the best idea? I'm not sure. ByuL not willing to stick around and find out. He is just going to disengage. He'll lose a couple
during
of
all this, he is
shuffle.
going to send a couple of roaches in the natural once more. He might be able to pick up a few drones. He's going to send a few to the main as well. I'm loving what I see from ByuL so far. Even though it's minor, he is creating small advantages for himself.
He's creating openings. He's spreading out his opponent, and SoO is defending very well, not sending his entire army to deal with small roach hit squads. Sends 4 roaches to kill 3, just enough to guarantee that he wins the fight.
No! Mutiny. Kill the baneling.
Infestors are on the way for ByuL, so he's going to have that next layer of tech. I think what we're seeing here are roaches being killed for more roaches. I don't understand it. He's killing roaches and then building more roaches. I thought he was going to make lings and then get banelings, but that's
the roach after the 60-minute mark is the new and improved roach.
Yeah, I guess so. We can rebuild him. 4th base will go down. But this is when ByuL's going to stand and fight, and with infestors in the mix, this could change everything. Good fungals landing on a lot of roaches. The numbers for SoO somehow seem to be greater, though. 199 supply for ByuL, 174 for SoO. The fight will rage on. The roach count still superior for SoO. These infestors need to get out of there because these roaches, I guess they are gonna hold the line after all. SoO decides to disengage.
Nice engagement there by SoO regardless, though. He ate big fungals, but he was still able to create a pretty good opportunity for himself.
SoO's choosing not to remax until the Hydra Den finishes. I cannot wait to see the production tab. 14 Hydras and groove spines, and I guess he may fill the rest out with roaches.
He's out of lava, Ben.
Oh, okay, so we just stopped injecting. That makes sense.
He has still 21 units on the production there. Both players lost a lot there, but I still felt that went okay for SoO. He picked up that 4th base.
Kev,
he
the
ate
fact
a lot
that
of
he
fungals.
stopped injecting might just cost him the game, as a lot of roaches and infestors are going to push forward. ByuL, however, doesn't realize that he might have an advantage and isn't going to press it.
Man, the amount of times that ByuL has used Contaminate this game is actually kind of cool. All the time. That's why he created an upgrade advantage for himself as well. Even though his evil champions were quicker regardless. He's going to try to pick up this hatchery and at the same time attack the 3rd base. But SoO is aware of this little plan.
Yep, and neither of these attacks is going to work. Great defense here by SoO. Defends the 3rd. Repels the attack in the 4th base. Although maybe he didn't send enough roaches.
Such a mirror game there.
Literally, I mean, almost identical unit compositions. The only real difference is that ByuL's got the infestors in the mix, and with the infestors is able to go up to hide and get the upgrade advantage. So I do like ByuL's position a bit more, Kevin.
I think earlier in this game, by the way, he was picking up the changelings at the Zelnag Watchtower. Those were not roaches. Unless he misclicked and then he killed
There was a mutiny, Kevin.
He's going to try to create another advantage for himself during all this. I don't think SoO ever went up to Hive. No, he's still on lay attack. We can see +3 is already on the way for ByuL. He has the upgrade advantage. He's down a base though. He's a little less rich, certainly in the gas department than his opponent. But eventually his army should become way stronger.
Got to be very careful about how he engages here. The roaches with a great concave and good fungals as well. ByuL looks like he's taking a perfect fight. The fungals crushing through the units on top. Infested Terran's going to go down as well. SoO does not look like, well, he's winning the fight on top. The fight in the middle is going to go in the way of ByuL. And then the 3rd prong looks like it's also okay for SoO. That said, SoO's units do ultimately end up melting away, and ByuL will hold here.
And every time the ByuL holds, it's going to get better and better for him. And even though he was slightly behind economically, his upgrades are really going to kick in soon. He's going to have that upgrade advantage for a very long time, because once more, there's still no Hive on the map. And the fact that he can gather up some energy on those infestors as well, he kept all 8 of them alive. I think that was a really good fight for ByuL. And you can also see it's getting shown in the last resource tab.
Definitely being shown in the supply tab. 194 supply to 172. That's a 20 supply lead for ByuL. 134 army supply to 118. That's where that 20 army supply is. That's where the supply difference is reflected. And the worker count is basically the same.
A lot of Hydralisks on the way right now. 18. He already has 8 of them, so that goes up to 26 Hydras for SoO. That can be amazing. That's a lot of potential DPS. But Hydras are also pretty vulnerable against all this fungal growth that's out there.
That's true. That's very true. But I do think. I think that's a pretty big deal. Here we go, another big fight for ByuL. He is going to push right up against this. Roach is able to engage everything, but look at the Hydras firing away from behind. Far superior Hydra count. Will their damage output work? Yes, I think so, Kevin. The Roaches for ByuL are melting away. The Hydra count is too high, and it's going to make a huge difference in this engagement. And somehow SoO, with less supply, wins a convincing victory and pushes ByuL back.
That was beautiful positioning from those Hydras, though. They went completely untouched. A lot of infested Terrans were thrown down, but they died immediately because of those Hydras. Fungus were not able to deal the damage that was potentially possible. And it was just a pretty poor engagement overall for ByuL, not the engagement that he was looking for. Then again, it is very hard to attack into your opponent in ZVZ. It goes for most mirror matchups, but certainly in this Roach Hydra war.
Even in the wake of that fight, the supply is virtually identical. 191 supply to 190 supply. Roaches being produced on both sides. That's what the reload's going to be. The +3 upgrade advantage, though, Kevin, I think ultimately that may end up being the game changer. I don't know why ByuL refuses to build Hydras. He's got the tech, and he's got the upgrades.
Roach Infestor all the way, man.
Maybe he just feels like he doesn't have the gas, but...
Yeah, I mean, he did lose that fort base, and he's not even taking a 7 and 8 gas yet, so maybe that's why. I think that makes a lot of sense. He's been kind of low gas-wise all along, and maybe he wants to stack up some additional infestors. Because he has 8, he has 7 of them. 1 of them did die in that previous fight. I would love to see him go up to 10, even though it's a little risky, because it's a lot of supply that can't actually fight. It might give him this, the dream engagement that he's looking for, because he will actually be able to chain fungal big groups of Hydra to death.
We'll see +3 armor now on the way for ByuL. So we're potentially going to be looking at a 3-3 army against a 2-2 army. SoO should really get Hive. I don't know why he's choosing not to. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Infestation finally going to go down. So that's on the way. But man, is he going to be behind in upgrades for a long time. Spine Crawler's even going down for ByuL. This is smart, just burning off those excess minerals with some static D.
Oh, this is a risky move.
These units are too clumped, way too clumped, and huge fungal's going to go down on top of everything. It's just a matter of whether or not the Hydra damage is going to go faster than the fungal damage, and I don't think that it will. Infestors continuing to cast spells, infested Terrans being unloaded, but look at the Hydras just cranking out so much focused fire, and somehow SoO is going to trade okay here.
But I still think it's going to be okay. With the reinforcements, ByuL might be able to hang in there a little longer. Even though a couple of Roaches die immediately, he was able to kill the fort base during all this. So that's a massive pickup, but he's going to need to stabilize somehow, some way.
Reinforcements do clean up the remainder of SoO's army. It's 124 supply to 138. SoO's way up in supply, Kev. Well, not way up anymore as the last of those units go down. 128 supply to 130. This game is ridiculously close.
Wow. Army supply is so even, but picking up that fort base, I think that's super important, and I think that was okay for ByuL in the long run. He kept his infestors alive as well. He has Burrow now, which he can definitely use to be annoying later on. There's one hidden Roach in the natural SoO. One day, man. He's destined for great things.
Wow, we'll have to wait and see. The Hydra is just making such a huge difference in that last fight. SoO's going to take another advantageous fight here against ByuL, picking off a lot of units for free. These infestors don't have any energy. Oh, they do have enough for a single fungal. Is there more? Infested Terran's going to go down instead. Roaches pushing into superior upgrades, but the numbers just in favor of SoO. And he is going to go ahead and back off as these infested Terrans end up popping, and 126 supply remains for ByuL against 115.
He started off a little slowly, but I love what it's turning into. I still feel the longer this goes, the better it will get for ByuL. certainly after picking up that port base. He's still dropping Contaminate as well. He's like, so you want to finally go to Hive? No, not yet. But I don't think that SoO wants to go to Hive anymore. He doesn't have the money for it, man. After losing that port base, he just can't afford it.
Can't afford any more tech, can't afford to get upgrades. And we're seeing it reflected in the supplies, too. Without a fourth base, he can't keep up. In the macro, it's 156 supply to 129. This game was neck and neck for a long time, Kevin. It's 50 drones to 49.
It was a very ballsy decision by ByuL to send a lot of roaches to the south side of the map while SoO had his entire army over here heading to his fort base. But he was able to stabilize without losing his base and at the same time killing that fort on the other side of the map. I think that was a brilliant call. And I must say the way that he's been babysitting those infestors throughout the entire game, that's magnificent as well, because we all know how easy it is to lose all your infestors at once. Especially you, man.
I've lost so many infestors.
If there's one thing you're the best at,
if any of you guys find an infestor laying around, it's probably mine. 186 supply over 147. ByuL with a commanding lead now.
Yeah, he's up 25 roaches. He still has those infestors as well. There are a bunch of high risk on the map for SoO, but I think that we are really approaching the mode where ByuL can finally be truly aggressive and not just with small hit squads, but he can actually commit to an attack. And I think that he's going to come out victorious. He has the numbers, he has the upgrade advantage as well, even +3 armor finished stuff. I have no idea when he squeezed that one in, but he got away with it. There's the queen on the
impress. I think this is a guy who a month and a half ago inadvertent rhymes so often that I don't know what to do.
Oh.
Spawning in the 6 o'clock position on Polar Knights. The red Zerg player leading 1-0. He is ByuL. And his opponent in the top half of the map. The blue Zerg, his name is SoO. And Kev?
Yep.
That's right.
I love it.
That's right. That's a happy fan down there. It's cheering for no reason at all. And ByuL will probably do the same.
Yep. I haven't seen too many ZVZs yet on Polar Knight. I do think this is a pretty good map for roaches as well, as it's relatively easy to wall this off and stabilize up to a certain phase in the game. I was a little bit surprised by the fact that SoO decided to mine like over 200 and something gas, but then never really did anything with it. Do you think that was more out of safety precautions because he didn't know how much gas his opponent mined? Does that make any sense?
I think depending on what he saw early on, he might have committed to some Zergling Baneling aggression. But that's really my best guess. I think it's almost a guarantee that one of these players, as both are getting the early gases, by the way, I think it's almost a guarantee that one of these players will get aggressive here on Polar Knight.
I mean, this map it's going to be a lot shorter rush distance for both Zerglings and even Banelings, so we will see.
And I also don't think either of these guys wants to get into the mid game like we had on Whirlwind. This is a very, I'm going to call this a rampy map. I don't know if that even makes sense. But
there are a lot of ramps, man. So if you want to call it a rampy map, I'm going to roll with it.
If there's ever been a rampy map, it's Polar Knight.
Hashtag rampy map.
If somebody tweets hashtag rampy map, I will retweet the hell out of that. Anyway, as you know, it's always hard to fight on ramps, and when you're playing Roach Wars, you can count on just controlling the high ground, and it will be a real hassle. So we'll see if anybody is willing to go to that phase of the game. But we are already seeing Zergling speed out of ByuL, and he's mining a little bit of gas still. Looks like it's just one drone though. A lot of times players will do this and then start their Baneling nest and put drones back on gas.
Mm-hmm. So everything is still up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting, man. This is the calm before the storm.
Baneling nest, drones back on gas. I feel like we just talked about this.
Maybe you did, man. You're just way ahead of the meta again.
A couple of lings in production for ByuL. These first lings are just going to be to check it out, and we'll see if he decides he wants to get crazy. Does he want to go YOLO? No, I did not say Jon Merlo. I said YOLO.
But you can't say Jon Merlo without YOLO.
And it's always a good idea to bring you on Merlo when you go YOLO.
All right, enough love for Johan. Spinecrawler going down for SoO, as you'd rather be safe than sorry. One Ling might actually be able to sneak in the main base. That's, no, okay, it's not going to get there.
Oh.
That would have been very nice for him, even though there's not much to see. That's only something we know. That's not something that ByuL knows.
He saw 2 queens and he saw Spinecrawler, and that was enough for ByuL to say, okay, I'm going to build drones.
But what he doesn't know is that there was actually 100 gas mined, which, you know, is still a little different than if that gas would have never been taken.
Very cute Zergling micro here in the middle
Actually,
of
he
the
saw
map.
it with the Overlord, so I am wrong, man. Wow, that's a very quick layer. On both sides, actually, but 6 minutes and 5 seconds.
So this will very likely turn into a Muta game.
Didn't we see ByuL play Mutas in one of the games against Jaedong on Belshire?
Oh man, you're going to put me on the spot.
All right, man.
Yes, I'm just going to say yes and hope that I'm right.
Roachron going down, at least for now, for SoO, and double evolution chamber as well. While on the other side of the map for ByuL, we don't really see a whole lot of things going down, Ben. SoO hasn't really made a huge attempt to scout anything either of what's going on at the front.
Yep. Extra gases are being taken. That layer's going to finish up, so I think we will definitely see a Spire very soon.
But that's going to be pretty crazy, because SoO is going to commit to roaches. He is getting a layer as well, and he's already starting those missile upgrades. While he's going to play against Mutalisk, ByuL right now is just like crossing his fingers, like I hope your layer wasn't very quick, and I hope you're not going to fly an Overseer in my base in the near future, because I'm going to need some time.
Yep. This Spire takes a long time to build. It's what is it, 100 seconds? Yeah, it's 100 seconds. So a full minute and some change before before the Mutas can actually enter play. Roach speed on the way. First roaches in production. +1 range to oh my God, 11 roaches. This could be the perfect timing for SoO.
Unless he goes back to droning after this, but it doesn't look like it. 13 drones on the way right now, +1 and speed. But still, by the time they make their way across the map, don't you think he will be able to get 4 or 5 spike crawlers? And look at this Overseer. This is such a massive
scout. He's going to see the eggs hatch, and he'll know, oh my goodness, that's enough roaches that I need to worry.
He's going to
more
throw
spines
down.
should be on the way. Oh my goodness, not just one.
Now he already had 2. He's going to throw down 2 additional spines. There are how many Zerglings? 22 Zerglings on the map as well. So I think that's something he can work with. Spire is about to finish up. I actually think that he might be able to hold this, man.
Zerglings and spine crawlers should buy him enough time to get the Mutas out. How many queens are on the map? There's only 4. I think that ByuL's going to be in great shape here.
He's going to try to buy some time with these Lings as well. Picking up one of the queens would be massive, but there are so many transfusions that he doesn't want to commit to it. But every second he buys for himself is one that's precious.
One queen is going to be transfused back to full health.
That Roach is like, whoop. Those queens never really loved me like the way they loved other queens, but I dodged the bullet there.
That is the less popular kid in the army.
26 roaches is a crazy amount, but 11 Mutas are about to spawn. This is going to get close regardless. Another, he's forcing out a lot of transfusions already. It's something though.
SoO definitely knows it's going to be Mutas. Now he sees the Mutas. It's going to be tough to engage these queens. As we know, transfusion Mutas, great at just steadily wearing down the Muta ball. Roaches will come forward, but this is so many spine crawlers, Kevin. I don't know how this attack is supposed to work. Mutas, oh man, transfusion is such a strong spell. Muta's trying to do work on these queens. Ling's going to stream in as well, but when the queens fall, there will be no more anti-air, and the roaches will be naked. ByuL has done this so exceptionally well. The last roaches should be cleaned up. Maybe a couple drones fall, but this is going to be a successful defense.
ByuL making it look easy, and picking up all those queens that were brought offensively is going to help his Mutalisk as well to be way more useful. What a fantastic hold there by ByuL, and I love how he played this game from start to finish with those Lings. I felt he just knew more than SoO all along.
He did it all right, man. He had great knowledge. He made the right choices, and now he has full control of the skies. I don't know how SoO is supposed to get back in this game. He's going to try to muster, I guess, one more attack. Meanwhile, ByuL with full map control can expand, he can deny bases, he can harass, he can kill lots and lots and lots of Overlords. SoO supply blocks down to 100 of 76 available supply means he cannot make units for a while.
There are 5 queens on the map, and there are still 23 roaches on the map, so you want to be careful with those Mutalisks. You don't want to throw away.
No transfusion, Kev. These queens are going to end up going down. Roaches will try to stream across the map and counterattack, but not before all but 2 queens are killed. Mutas will now turn around.
There are still plenty of spine crawlers as well. The WCS Korea runner-up is in a lot of trouble, man.
Against WCS America runner-up. So that means
America, Korea.
Freedom wins again, Kev. Muta's going to stream in. Start working on the roaches.
You're so stupid.
Roaches are going to end up being thinned out and killed off, but not before getting a couple of drone kills. SoO's going to fight to the last man, but with the mutas overhead, it's going to be so hard for these roaches to ever really achieve much of anything. They do cancel this third base. That's a small win for SoO.
And he is not down too many drones, but he's just been losing so many queens. He's going to try to transition into infestors now, but will he ever really be able to get away with that?
I'm not sure how, man. Even if he does get infestors out, he's got to have something to supplement the infestors to actually kill those mutas, as they're just picking off roaches all around the map. These three roaches are going to get picked off by Zerglings. Queen's going to continue, Muta's going to continue to just dominate the skies. I love how SoO is clearly just a phenomenal player, because he's always doing something else on top of what's going on. So here we see another roach attack into what would have been the third base, but ByuL didn't retake it. He's just using what he's got to make more and more mutas.
3 queens and a spore crawler in each base, but there's still so many mutalisks over here.
And they're easily able to pick off this spore, and that's going to give them free reign over the main, at least until these queens come up from the natural. 3 more queens go down, and plenty of drones die in the exchange, and Zerglings streaming into the natural. SoO is up against it. Here come the Zerglings into the main base. There's a spine crawler in the nat, but does it matter when the spawning pool and the lair are destined to die? Pathogen glands finishing up. A couple more queens will come. Will spawn soon. But Kevin, I'm just not seeing any way back in this game for SoO.
A couple of roaches did manage to sneak in the main base, but I'm afraid it's just a little too late. All these mutas are just killing every single thing that SoO has in his own main and natural. As you said, a couple of infestors are on the way, but by the time that these guys spawn, I think all of these drones will be dead.
So many drones will fall. The last of the economy basically being ravaged. Look at this single lonely roach crying off creep because all of his friends have been killed. Spawning pool will fall. The lair will fall. SoO's out of this one, man. He's got 26 supply left. He just wants to kill the Spire out of spite. Here come the infestors. Will they even make a single cast? It's just not meant to be, Kev. He's got nothing left. Good game! A 2-0 victory for